Howdy, audio friends. I got an interesting video for you today because I've got not one, not two, but three. Oops, sorry, bumped it. But three ether closed back headphones to try. So we've got my personal JM modded Ether CX. We've got a stock Ether CX, and then we've got a Ether C Flow. Okay, so what came about with these is I was debating on selling the JMs. I've had them for a while. I honestly love them. I've already filmed a review for them, but I didn't release it yet. And then I had a friend notice that I was thinking about selling them, and he reached out and asked me if I wanted to try these other two just so I could do like a comparison and we could figure out like, you know, what makes the JM mod special or different. So thanks to him, you know who you are. His name's actually Kachu is what he goes by, and he has his own pad line, which is super sweet. And so actually the pads that I found best with the JM Ether CX are his suede pads. So, you know, I'll link to his information in case you want to check some of that stuff out. But anyway, before we get ahead of ourselves, we'll just quickly look at these headphones. They're all essentially built the same way. And then we'll get into sound and sound differences, and I'll try to be as quick as possible with this. These comparisons can get a little rambly, so I'll do my best to not do that. So stick with me, and let's dive in. Okay, so looking at the build, well, of course, the Ether CXs are the same, right? They're the exact same build. Okay, carbon fiber pattern on the cups and stuff is all the same. The Ether C Flows have a little bit different, like it's smaller carbon fiber on here, and then they have like a little bit different of a headband system. I mean, it's basically the same, but I honestly, like, I wouldn't worry about any of it if you were buying any of these. Like, the build is great on all of them. It's a DCA, you know, you can see that this one has a little bit different build, the Ether C Flows, but like, it's a DCA, it's built fantastic, the design is impeccable. And then they're super comfy headphones, honestly. And again, my favorite ended up being these JMs with these suede pads on them, but they were comfy with their stock pads too, which were kind of these square opening pads, which are a little bit different, but they were also comfy with that as well. Okay, so build, phenomenal. Love the build on all these. I think, so what we'll get into here is it's gonna be a little more of a reading just because I had to take notes. You know, they're so similar that I couldn't really just like wing it and get my thoughts together. I had to make sure I was writing everything down and paying real close attention. So I'll read a little bit and I'll talk about it, but you know, just bear with me here for a second. Okay, so let's start with the Ether C Flow, because this one I think it's kind of the daddy of them, right? Like it's the OG, right? And it came to me with these suede pads on it. Okay, so I thought, you know, it sounded really good, honestly. Tons of detail in all of these headphones. Like the drivers in these things are phenomenal. Like super high resolution, tons of detail. Like the drivers are excellent in all these, right? So I thought the timbre was good. I thought it seemed like maybe a little distant, but there was really good separation in there. I didn't think it was nearly as engaging as the Ether CX models, but as far as being able to just like kind of sit back and pick out details, it was really, really good, the Ether C Flow. So good spatial information, like ambiance was a word that I put down just because I feel like it like really put you there, and I think that that's a trait usually that I attribute to like really fast, accurate drivers, and I think that's what these guys have. So after that, I switched to the Ether CX, which has the Kachu pads on them. These are the Kachu like pleather pads on them, okay? And I thought they still sounded good, but, you know, there was less space. It was a little more intimate. I thought they still had tons of great details, but it was a little more mid-centric was the big difference, and a little bit more intimate. Neither the Ether C Flow or the Ether CX stock have much bass impact. Like the bass that's there, like the texture of it and stuff, like the sound of it is really good, but you don't get like the feels from the bass on those guys. So there's just like it's no impact. Like they're not very dynamic in that regard at all. So then switch to the Ether CX. Now this time I was listening with the square pads, right? I hadn't switched to the suede yet, and I thought, you know, more mid clarity, more mid centric, which fits me really well because I like acoustic music a lot. I thought there was noticeably more bass. It's still not a bass heavy headphone, but like noticeably more impact, and it just seemed more accurate to me. Like it was more to my liking, the bass on these guys. And I noticed how low it went, just low in texture and deep, and it's really good on the JMs. Again, still not super dynamic, I don't think, but the best of the bunch as far as dynamics go. After I had listened to the JM, I went back to the original Ether CX, and I was kind of like A-B'ing them, and I just thought the stock CX, I felt was a little bit flat. Like it was boring and flat, I felt like, compared to the JM, which just a little more lively and has more impact to it. And then when I switched back to the Ether C Flow, I thought definitely the top end was better on the Ether C Flow. More sparkly is what I put. Maybe a touch more dynamics than the stock Ether CX, but still nothing to write home about. And I think because of that better top end, it just really, like the spatial information just really felt good to me and really felt accurate. So then what I put down is I was like, well, I like the JM the best because it's got the best impact of all of them, and I want that bass, but then I want the rest of the Ether C Flow, right? I want the sparkly top end, I want the great spatial information. So what I did was I swapped those suede pads, the Cayin suede pads, onto my JM modded Ether CX, and boom, sweet spot is what I put down. So it still has the bass, it's still got the punch, but it got all that top end and spatial information. So tons of top end information, but not harsh at all. Just like really, really high resolution, really fantastic detail up there. And so like my conclusion with all these headphones is they're all fantastic. I personally would take the JM modded over the other two, regardless of pads on them. But I think the JM modded ones with these suede Cayin pads, like, oh, they're so good. I think honestly, like, these are the best closed back headphones I've tried. And I've tried, you know, Lyrics, I've tried Stelia, I've tried 820s, you know, I've tried a lot of expensive closed back headphones. Not a lot, but quite a few. And I think these JM modded Ether CX with these suede pads on them, like, they're amazing. I bought mine for $600. I don't know if JM's modding these still. It'd be worth asking him if you've got a set of Ether CX, because I bet he would. I don't know what it would cost you, but I bet he would. Again, I'm just continually impressed with the work that he does modding headphones, and you know, it's not like it's major tweaks, but it just he makes a headphone like the best it can be, you know? So I feel like Ether CX, like, I see people selling these for like $450. So $450, buy a set, see if he'll mod it. Maybe that'll cost you a couple $100. Buy a set of these pads, boom, you've got yourself like literally one of the best, most comfortable, well-designed, well-built closed back headphones that you can get at any price range, I would say. Yeah, they're fantastic. So I honestly, like, I'm a little shocked that the Ether CX doesn't have more of a following, especially at its price point. Like, I think the driver in there is phenomenal. Like, it's amazing. And you get the hard case and you get all that stuff with it. Like, it's a wonderful headphone. Like, I don't know why it doesn't do better. I guess maybe people just think they don't have enough impact, but that's where JM comes in and gets you a little bass boost on there. So I think they're great. Cayin, thanks for sending these out to try. Thanks for the pads. I'll get you paid for those. What's your experience? You tried these? Do you think they're am I way off base? Are they terrible? Like, I don't know. I just the amount of detail and resolution that driver puts out in the spatial information is just really great for a closed back, for any headphone, let alone a closed back. So yeah, I love them. They're great. So I hope you found this useful. Keep an eye out for a set of used Ether CX is what I'd tell you. All right. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.